Hey guys, welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast, your daily guide for inner child healing. This podcast helps you establish a consistent reparenting routine and is divided into 3 sections. The first is a daily reading, the second is a discussion of that reading followed by suggested journal prompts, and the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. I'm so glad that you're here as we continue on this journey of self-expansion and growth. If this is your first time, welcome. Now, before we dive in, I have a few quick reminders. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support here helps us spread the word, allowing us to continue to grow this community. Next, I'd like to introduce our Patreon group, where we have 3 weekly meetings. On Sundays, we have a meditation meeting. On Tuesdays, we have book club meeting. And on Thursdays, we have open topic discussions. These meetings take place at 6 p.m. CEST, so Amsterdam, Paris time. For my next announcement, I'd also like to introduce the Reparenting Daily journal, which you can find on Amazon. This journal follows along with the podcast, so each weekly and monthly themes are reflected in the journal. It provides space for you to keep your notes with plenty of extra resources on each topic to be discussed. It's an excellent tool, and if you purchase it, you can join our weekly meetings for free. Just send me an email and we'll get you linked in. For the last announcement, I'd like to introduce one of my most meaningful creative projects, a 3-volume series entitled Fairy Tales for Reparenting. Now, you might be wondering, why fairy tales? Aren't those just for kids? But through my personal healing journey and in studying the work of Carl Jung, Marie-Louise von Franz, and other spiritual and psychological traditions, I've come to see fairy tales as powerful symbolic maps for transformation. They carry deep, timeless wisdom, especially for those of us doing the hard work of reparenting ourselves. The series follows the structure of the hero's journey. Volume 1 explores the wounded child, stories of loss, betrayal, and innocence. Volume 3 is about the trials of endurance, cunning, and self-discovery. And Volume 3 is the return, stories of transformation, power, and wholeness. Each story is followed by journal prompts and space to reflect on how each story connects to your own inner healing journey. These are not just tales, they're tools. They're an invitation to connect with the part of you that still believes in magic and possibility and healing. You'll find both familiar classic and lesser-known stories from cultures around the world, offering you fresh insights and inspiration on your path. All 3 volumes are now available on Amazon. Your support means so much to me, not just for this project, but for the larger mission of helping myself and others reconnect inwardly. Reparenting is like nurturing a bonsai tree. It's not fast, it's not flashy, but with care, patience, and consistency, it will transform you. Thanks so much for being here and for supporting this work, and also for committing on your personal journey of self-expansion. Now, without further ado, let's dive into today's practice. Hey guys, today's reading is again from the CPDSD Foundation. We're continuing with that same article, The Wounded Inner Child. We're going to be going down to continue where we left off yesterday, and this section is called, one moment, Some Signs You Might Have a Wounded Inner Child. This is a reminder we're in August, and the theme is Healing the Inner Child. We're in week 3, which is August 15th until the 21st, and the theme is Healing Your Inner Child Wounds. Some signs you might have an inner child wound. The first step in healing your inner child is to acknowledge that there is, to acknowledge it is there, and that he or she is wounded. The harm done to your inner child is directly correlated with the ways you feel unsafe in the world. Below are some signals you have a wounded inner child. A deep feeling that there's something was wrong with you. Being a people pleaser. Being a rebel and feeling alive when in conflict with someone. Being a hoarder. Not being able to let go of possessions and people. Feeling or experiencing anxiety with something new. Feelings of guilt for setting boundaries. Driven to be a superachiever. Being rigid and a perfectionist. Having problems starting and finishing tasks. Exhibit constant self-criticism. Feel ashamed at expressing emotion. Ashamed of your body. Having deep distrust of anyone else. Avoiding conflict, no matter the cost. And the fear of abandonment. If you recognize yourself in many, not necessarily all, of the above listed items, there is a high chance that you have a wounded inner child. The influence of the wounded child in all of us. The inner child, the inner children live in the human psyche, directly influence all that we do. Adults are covertly controlled by their unconscious inner child, and this leaves the child in charge of their lives. When wounded, these little ones are full of anger, shame, and sometimes rage because of the maltreatment they endured. Inner children are the lens through which injured adults make decisions. Can you imagine your children, or a child you see on the street trying to make sense of adult relationships or make career decisions? Predictably, such attempts could only end in disaster. However, this is what happens every day in the lives of people who have a wounded inner child. These small, lost, and lonely parts of ourselves are afraid, anxious, and insecure, and that can make our lives miserable. However, there is hope. Inner child work, including self-reparenting, can ease the pain and heal the wounds left behind by caregivers who were abusive or toxic. She held herself until the sobs of the inner child subsided entirely. "I love you," she told herself. "It will all be okay." Raven Ross. Your pain needs to be recognized and acknowledged. It needs to be acknowledged and then released. Avoiding pain is the same as denying it. Young Kang Chun. Thank you, and that's the reading for today. Welcome back. This reading connects powerfully to the August theme of healing inner child wounds by naming the behaviors and feelings that often point to the unhealed inner child. Perfectionism, fear of abandonment, people-pleasing, deep shame, and avoidance of conflict. These patterns are not random flaws. They are protective strategies of our younger selves adopted to survive in unsafe environments. Recognizing them without judgment is the first step towards freedom. By seeing these signs as messages from a part of us that still longs for safety and love, we can still begin the process of repair rather than to remain trapped in cycles of self-criticism or fear. Within this week's focus on reparenting the inner child, the message is clear. The wounded inner child cannot and should not be the one running our adult life. But instead of pushing them away, reparenting invites us to listen, comfort, and guide them like the loving parent would. This means replacing shame with compassion, setting boundaries without guilt, and slowly teaching the inner child that the world can be a safe place. With consistent care, these anxious, fearful parts can relax and the adult self can take lead, grounded in self-respect and clarity. As we go into the journal prompts today, number 1, which sign of a wounded inner child from today's reading do you most recognize in yourself? And how has that shown up in your life? And number 2, imagine your inner child is speaking to you through those behaviors. What do you think they are trying to tell you? And number 3, what is one small, concrete way you can show your inner child today that they are safe and loved? That's it for today. As always, thanks for being here. Take care of yourself and please do be well. Welcome back. Now, this is the third and final section of the daily podcast. This is your silent meditation. Please go ahead and find a space where you can be comfortable and undisturbed, where you can relax and spend some time with yourself for this 10-minute silent meditation. You can choose to be sitting, standing, lying down, or in whatever position makes you comfortable today. Take a moment to simply be with yourself. Focus on your breath and gently connect with each part of your body. If thoughts arise, don't let them overwhelm you. Just observe them without attachment. Imagine them as leaves drifting down atop a river, passing by without needing your engagement. Stay present, grounded, and open to this moment, no matter what time you are listening and practicing this meditation. Namaste.